Welcome, travelers of the internet, to Pillars of Eternity. This is your host, Master Barkle from Brighthelm Recording. We left off the city of the Deerwood, Defiance Bay, is a bit on fire, and animancers are getting put to death and all that whatnot. And Theos fled to Twin Elms, we presume, anyways. Twin Elms probably will know more about that. But also, I want to keep my castle, so we need to possibly deal with certain, a Lord Gathbin. So, let's just do what the story tells me to do and return to Caed Nua. Solmar the Shackler. Aha. Uh-oh. Mob? Oh, that ain't gonna be fun. I wouldn't pay, so they set my crops on fire. When my boy tried to stop him, they knocked him over the head. He's alive, but he can't think straight no more. Your boy got lucky. My gods, good men both, got put to the sword after they'd surrendered. I paid those thugs what they wanted, but they still took everything I had. There he is! Woman points at you, and all eyes in the crowd turn their hostile gazes upon you. What's going on here? We want justice! You've been terrorizing us, and we won't stand for it any longer. Oh, you better choose your next words carefully. I'm the Lord. The group eyes you warily. After a few moments, one man in the group elbows another. The second man takes a deep breath and straightens his stance before speaking. You sent your men to my farm to collect a crop tax, saying we was overdue. For me, it was a road toll. I've been traveling up and down this way for years, and this was the first I've heard of such a thing. I think that's bandits instead. I don't toll roads. Other people in the crowd chime in with similar stories. Those weren't my men. Then who were they? They weren't no common bandits. What makes you think I sent these men? They said they were acting on orders from the Lord of Caed Nua. That's you. It's probably Gathbin who thinks he's the Lord of Caed Nua, but who's sleeping in the big bed, Who's sleeping in the big bed? I don't even know why there is a bed that big. If this happens again, it's not on my orders. You heard it directly from me. Say we believe you. What about what we've lost? What about my crops? And my goods? And the families of my guards? I'll make these men face justice. You can count on it. We appreciate that, but can you offer us any compensation? Just a little to help us get by, of course. Sure, here's 100 pieces. He looks like he's about to say something, but thinks better of it, and settles for a curt bow instead. The coins are quickly distributed among the crowd, and they disperse without another word. Good. I'll collect that money back again in taxes. Ah, angry mobs. The inevitable thorn in every ruler's side. Hey, Rollen, tall stag. Oh, wait, you're the marshal. What brings you to Caed Nua? I have news about Lord Gathbin. Let's discuss it in the Great Hall, away from curious ears. Uh-huh. He's gathering an army. Adair, what's up?
Say what you want about Deerwoodans. They haven't met the problem yet they couldn't solve by killing some scapegoats.
Yeah, that is true. Just look at the animancers right now. You fight for people because you see something there that deserves defending. Even more so because someone you trust sees it too. Then you turn around and they do something like this. And the person who made you want to help them is gone. People never fail to disappoint without guidance. Not the ones around here. They're downright regular about it. 15 years ago, they tried to kill all the Aethasians. Then the legacy happens, and they worried that maybe those purges had something to do with it. So how do they fix it? More purges. Never thought I'd find myself missing the hospitality back home. Yeah, I agree. I need to deal with a slaver, I guess. Seeking counsel on some business matters. Well, I think I can give him some counsel, alright. Counsel of a noose hanging from my walls. Ho there, slaver boy.
At last, I'm glad you're here, my lord. My name is Solmar. I have a matter of some importance to discuss, if you have the time.
Oh, well, let's hear it. Gesture for your allies to join you and take your place upon your throne.
I'll cut to the meat of it. I have a dozen Rollen slaves in port at Girara. Good, healthy stock that will fetch a fine price in Exometal, if I can get a ship up the coast. That's the, tricky part. I haven't got the coin to stock a ship for the whole journey, not without docking at a Deerwood port along the way and running the risk of having my goods seized. Really, these Deerwood laws are completely impractical for any honest merchant traveling outside of Defiance Bay.
This guy calls himself honest when he's a slaver.
I hoped you could be of some assistance. You're not originally from the Deerwood, I hear, so surely you understand.
Of course. Haravius, I want you to head down to Girara and see if you can free those slaves.
I would love to. It gives me something to do with my hands while I plot this man's painful death.
Busy for 5 days. Oh goodness. He wants to go to Twin Elms too.
Guess we're gonna have to do some side questing till then.
Have you come to a decision?
Yes, I've decided to hang you. Guards, take him away. What? You can't be... This is madness. Stop. You can't do this to me.
Solmar's cries continue even as he is dragged out of the hall. What an idiot. Can't believe he had the balls to ask me to help him with slavery. Executed. That's right. Lord Rollen Tallstag. I've received word that Lord Gathbin is amassing an army of mercenaries near Yenwood Field. It appears a peaceful claim to Caed Nua is no longer possible. The Earl has sent me to aid you in forming your own force to counter this threat. I'm here in an advisory role only, of course. The Earl won't officially take sides in this dispute. Ah, great. We can't just sit in the fortress, too, because he's just going to continue harassing the farmers and merchants around and making me look like a bad guy. And then I'll have a rebellion on hand. Why won't the Earl officially legitimize my claim? It is a delicate situation legally. Lord Gathman's claim is just, and he knows it. Stripping land and title from a noble family is quite dangerous, perhaps more so than killing the man outright. I suppose, because then like the entire family is going to be upset than just Gathbin. With Gathbin dead, the Earl only need worry about blood vengeance from family members that actually cared for Lord Gathbin. Those, if court gossip is to be believed, are few and far between, so it's easier to just kill Gathbin. Losing a family claim to land and title, though, such disputes incite hatred from the entire clan and their political allies, not to mention the unease it causes amongst the other nobles. Wars are started for less. Yeah? No, if Gathbin is to be denied, it will be you who must prove your legitimacy to the Earl, and all others who would dispute your claims. This is what it means to be noble in the Deerwood. If there's anything else you wish to know, please ask. Okay, let's talk about my army, I guess. Where am I getting my troops? I've sent out a call for volunteers from the lands around Caed Nua. Hopefully, people will realize that being under your rule is preferable to that of Lord Gathbin's. Any hireling stationed at Caed Nua will also accompany you to the battle, so I suggest you acquire as many of them as possible. Okay, so we may need to head to a tavern. I received a missive from the Domanals. They've heard about the situation and will send a squad of men when the time for battle comes.
They were unclear about what kind of men they'll send, only that they're very good with their blades. Well, what's the status of my regular troops, I guess, rather than, peasants with pitchforks and Dominel rogues? I'll need to get some hirelings. 2 green, too few. If you go up against Lord Gathman now, losses will be heavy. However, victory is still possible. We need to recruit veteran troops then. I know a company or two of veterans that would be willing to join us for a bit of coin. Let's say 10,000 coppers should cover the expenses. It's okay. With fewer losses from the people around Caed Nua, that'll mean more taxes for me coming in. God dang, I'm seriously thinking about that crop tax. Alrighty. Well, let's head to a tavern, I guess. Get ourselves some followers. So I cannot head to Defiance Bay anymore because of, issues. So there's a tavern in Gilded Vale in Deerford, I remember. Presume Stormwall Gorge is how you get over to Twin Elms over here. They like me in Gilded Vale. I remember that. So let's head to Gilded Vale. I see the town is just as lovely as it was before I left. It's good to see nothing really changed here. The Black Hound is what I remember. How much money do I have? 41,000. Alrighty.
Greetings.
I could use some reliable help. Level 7 adventurers. Alrighty. Crap. Rock Harvest. Yeah, sounds good enough. Alrighty. Just one follower. Alston Bachlan. There we go. Sean. Sounds good to me. But just one name. Rothelmere. There we go. About Imriel. Alrighty. About Ragdir Stone Shield. Yeah. But just regular old shiner. Running out of creativity here. Renfield. Alrighty, let's head to the keep, I guess. Now that I've practically drained my pockets, 27,000. Let's head back to the keep and set about my defense. Or my attack, I guess? I'm gonna say we're gonna go on the defensive because Lord Gathman did start this. We're just gonna end it for him. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Yeah, I think this is good formation. Alrighty. To battle. Excellent. Morale is high and the troops are eager to follow you to glory. Are you certain you wish to march? Yes, I'm sure. Give the order. As you command. I'll march the army to Yenwood Field. Will you be accompanying us? Yep. Let's march. As you crest a small hill overlooking Yenwood Field, Lord Gathman's army is a flurry of activity, scurrying to and fro. Even from this distance, you can hear the drums of war beating their steady cadence, designed to intimidate their foes while organizing the rank and file into battle formations. Marshal Forwin approaches. You've arrived just in time. Lord Gathman's forces are beginning to move. An attack is imminent. Any idea what he's planning? Marshal Forwin strokes his chin. His ultimate objective is to face you in battle, and to be seen defeating you. I doubt he is foolish enough to challenge you in single combat, of course. Probably. Local militia constitutes the majority of the army, but veteran soldiers have organized the ranks and walk among the young, unseasoned officers offering advice or the occasional joke. They cheer, striking sword to shield as you pass, in thunderous approval of their lord. A lone man approaches. He leans in close and claps your hand with a firm grip. Fear not, my lord. The others are already in place. Just point out who you want dead. House Dominel is with you. He inclines his head at Gathman's army, a crooked smile on his face. Hurry. Sound the horn, Marshal Forwin. It's time to finish this. Marshal Forwin begins barking orders and your troops quickly form up. Gathman's army follows suit as Idaran war drums echo across the field. Within a few moments, the marshal raises a brass horn in the visage of a mighty boar to his lips. He looks at you expectantly. Tonight, the ravens will feast on our enemies while we drink, fuck, and revel in glorious victory. Your troops bellow across the field, pounding weapon to shield as the marshal's horn sounds. Dozens of bowstrings twang in unison behind you as your archers unleash a hail of arrows at Gathman's army. The missiles hiss through the air with deadly accuracy, felling scores of enemies. In a bold move, Gathman points his sword towards your position, giving an unheard order. His infantry, shields raised, charge the field. Your infantry charges headlong into the enemy infantry in the center of the field. The cacophonous sound of metal on metal is nearly deafening as the two forces collide. The fighting is fierce and the screams of the dying numerous. Led by veteran warriors rally to your cause, the troops fight valiantly and appear to be holding their ground. The battle thus far appears to be a stalemate. Then, a group of Idaran battle mages emerges from behind the enemy lines. They begin weaving their hands in unison with practiced precision. Suddenly, waves of arcane fire erupt among your troops. The acrid smell of smoke and burning flesh is nearly overwhelming. From the left flank, a unit of Rawatai berserkers, clad in plate armor and wielding greatswords, begin to collapse the left side of the line. The ground is thick with the dead as they press their advantage. Meanwhile, bleak Walker paladins dressed in dark armor and carrying sword and shield stride back and forth behind Gathman's lines, rallying his warriors and exhorting them to fight harder. As the battle rages, Marshal Forwin looks to you for orders. We need to deal with those battle mages. What's your plan, Rollen? Send the signal to the Dominel saboteurs. The Dominel saboteurs reveal themselves from within Gathman's ranks. They quickly dispatch the leader of the battle mages, and one by one the mages fall at the daggers in their backs. Alrighty. I think that was the rest of my help. I don't think I can do much else about those other enemies. So let's charge! Everyone on me! As the remainder of your forces charge, a horn sounds in the distance. A new contingent of warriors crests a nearby hill. As Gathman's reinforcements charge headlong into the fray, his other troops cheer triumphantly. The new arrivals quickly join Gathman's forces on the field. As the battle rages, your forces fight valiantly, pressing ever forward. Casualties on both sides are high, and victory remains elusive for either side. Rollen Tallstag! Lord Gathman strides through the carnage, his elite guard accompanying him. We both knew it must come to this. Come now, it's time I put you down like the dog you are. Here I am, let's finish this.
Great.
Okay. Starting off. Let's get a fireball going.
I got fireball.
How may I help?
Cast fireball. Cast fireball. Cast Fireball.
Just keep on fireballing them.
Cast Fireball.
It's the one and only way to do it. There we go.
Better try something else.
Can you not reach him? There we go.
Love.
There we go. Lord Gaspin. All the way down.
It's no use. I need something stronger.
Almost got this. Held strong. There we are. Lord Gathbin lies dead before you, his army scattered. Bloodied and exhausted, your remaining troops look to you, swords raised high in victory, chanting your name. Tall stag! Tall stag! Tall stag! Holding the hem of his robe as he steps over several bodies, Chancellor Warren approaches you. Although his face is pale and he looks as if he will be sick at any moment, he forces a smile. Lord Rollen Tallstag, while I'm grateful this dispute is finally over, it is regrettable so many lives were lost in the process. Gathbin should have just been reasonable from the start. He gags involuntarily as his silk boot brushes against a severed head. In any event, as the legal arbiter of Earl Badamar, I'm here to inform you that you've been declared a Thane of the Deerwood, and Caed Nua has been recognized as your domain. It shall forever be thus, and will pass down to any descendants you may have in the future. Of course, now that your claim has been upheld, you are expected to forward a small portion of any taxes you collect to your rightful lord, Earl Badamar. Sure sounds reasonable. It appears my work is done. Feel free to visit the palace if... Steps on a pile of entrails with a wet squish as he turns to leave. On second thought, I'll come and visit you. Yes, perhaps in a year or 3. Lord Rollen Tallstag, it's been an honor to serve you. I'll be making my way back to Garen's Grasp. The Earl has some urgent business for me there, unfortunately. Should you ever find yourself that far north, feel free to call on me. I'd love to trade war stories with you over a cup or two. Grasps your hand briefly in a firm grip, then turns on his heel. Now, to loot the dead. Aloth, you want to talk about the battle?
Please, stop. I heard about the riots in Defiance Bay, and the interruption during the hearing. There's something I need to tell you.
Yeah? Got another personality tucked away in there? He smiles weakly. Would that were it? Would that were it?
I have not been entirely honest about my motives for traveling with you up to this point. When I finished my training in Adir, I was introduced to an organization. All I knew was that they were opposed to the unchecked spread of animency, and that they could guarantee me postings far away from the Seathwood my father and his Earl. At that time, it was enough. In the early years, I thought of them as many things. Hooded men, prudent teachers, the leaden key. Their rules were strict, but their guidance was clear. I sincerely believed they wanted to keep Kith from the folly of their own foolish ambitions. I came to the Deerwood a little over a year ago, My orders were to gather information on animancy in the region.
So how'd you wind up in Guild's Vale?
A senior contact met with me every few months to receive my reports and issue new leads. She sent me to Gilded Vale to keep an eye on events surrounding the local lord, but I lost track of her shortly after that. I don't know if she was reassigned, killed, or sacrificed the way you saw. At the time you met me, I'd been on my own for a couple of months.
What's with the music all of a sudden? Was that supposed to be the victory music I was supposed to hear or something? So, you knew I was coming?
I couldn't have. I'd been out of contact with my superiors for months.
Okay.
I needed some kind of direction. And after that scrape with the locals, I was ready to get out of town. But then you mentioned the hooded figures in the machine, and I was sure you were on the trail of the leaden key.
I suppose the leaden key is quite secretive, even to its own members. They probably kept you in the dark on the job you were assigned. Interesting. So you were in Gilded Vale, investigated Lord Radric, weren't you? Because Lord Radric was messing with something with animancy, wasn't he? He had somebody, an animancer.
And I was correct in a way. What we found wasn't what I expected. I knew the leaden key was trying to stop animancy, but I didn't realize how far they'd gone. Murder, sabotage, abandoning entire districts to shambling horrors. And now the whole city is up in flames.
Yeah, they are going quite far. All in the Deerwood of all places. Just one nation. Why does one nation deserve it so? Probably because they blew up a god, I guess. Because he claims to be doing the god's work.
I'm still not sure about animancy. But I know I've been following the wrong master. Please, accept my apology. And my service. Let me fight with you to stop Theos.
Yeah, probably sounds about right. Yeah, sure.
And what do you really expect us to do with this too-late confession? Trust you on your word?
I mean, yeah, I trust him because, like, the Legend Key is super, super, super secretive. And he has proven a little bit secretive, you know, keeping away Islamir from us and, you know, just now telling us about the whole Legend Key thing. But I feel we can trust him now that he's told us another secret thing he's been keeping. And, you know, his fireball spells are pretty useful.
Cast fireball.
With all your supposed extra senses, you let this happen. How, like a watcher to miss what's right in front of his eyes because he's too busy dancing in the ether?
Shut up, Durrance. I still kind of feel attached. Even with the betrayal, he's got his way of taking offense that I really like. Tough one. Apology accepted. Well, no, I want to go further. I want you beside me, not behind me. I like the sultry tones of Matt Mercer whispering in my ear.
That would be an honor.
Yes, it would. Well, let's go then. Okay, let's return to the keep, I guess. Wait. I lost 600 coin pieces to bandits. And there you have a exciting episode of Pillars of Eternity, Travelers of the Internet. The object of war is not to die for your country, but to make the other bastard die for his. This is Master Barkle from Brighthelm Recording, signing off.